you now lost your teleport, or you're now overextending in this lane in about a minute's time. So we're going to set up this play so we can go down and counter you. And that's why facing SKT is so difficult for these aggressive teams who like to try and snowball early.
Yes.
Because that's the style SKT loves to play against.
Right, because they're always coiled. They're always ready to strike as long as opportunity is available. They're happy to sit in lane and wait for 25 minutes, not making a play. But as soon as you walk past those 2 wards, you're already dead. You just don't know it yet. So SKT definitely a scary team to face. And you know, Royal are going to have to hope they can keep their cool and take this game down.
Yeah, I mean, if you're RNG, you have basically 2 options. Either you go for your normal style where you try and snowball early and you say, you know what, we think we can beat SKT this way. It's the best out of 1. We pick some early aggression and we try and take these early fights. Or you go the other way and say, actually, we have really good team fights. We want scaling. We don't want to be over-aggressive the first 15, 20 minutes. We want to get into where we have these big team fights around Dragons, around Baron. And we want to try and beat you at late game fighting. And I think that style for RNG will give them a better chance at winning. And that's also why I think Maokai would be a great pick. And of course, Alistar even better pick when Mata is your support.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're going to be locking those 2 in. So here we go, the hardcore engage is already there for Royal Never Give Up, champions that can shrug off turret damage, set up the fights for their team, and reduce the risk of these aggressive plays. I think there's a real chance that these can be the wedges that let RNG into this one.
It's a good start, at least for RNG, almost in every single way, if we look at them setting up these engages, because Mata is so good at finding the right opportunity to go in with the Alistar, and of course Maokai is just the S-tier top lane pick right now. Yeah, you can pick Echo into it or Poppy into it, that's fine, but Maokai in itself will just give you so much power in these late game teamfights and a very strong teleporter. Only problem for RNG in their first rotation is that Azir went over to Faker. That was one of the picks you could look at. Being like, oh, would it potentially be first pick, but when Nidalee is open, you first pick that?
Yeah, but the funny thing is, like, I would say more often than not, blue side teams very frequently will ban Azir because you typically see last pick red side Azir once you see the matchup, once you know you're safe. And so xiohu gets to pick whatever mid laner he wants into the matchup. Hubbard said goes for the LeBlanc and wants to take down Faker on his signature champion.
So we didn't get to talk much about options for xiohu beforehand, but normally against an Azir, you want to play some of these assassins because you can kill him in the laning phase, especially if you pair it up with a jungler who can walk in and give a few extra hits. Graves with his fantastic burst, especially at level 6. That combo, xiohu and mlxg, is a combo that we've seen a lot over in the LPL. Piled together when you have CC in the mid lane, you set up very easy ganks for your jungler. You just walk by, give it a few shots, and you can walk away with a kill. So RNG, while we talked about getting some scaling and playing these late game team fights, when they see the Azir, the answer probably already planned, because again, it's very easy for them to predict. If we take Maokai Alistar, they're going to take Azir. So we kind of opt a little bit away from just pure scaling. Right. We want kill pressure in that mid lane against Faker.
Well, xiohu can certainly have that one here. We'll see just how much can happen in the matchup. Faker off to choose his summoner spells wisely, and ooh, the Jhin coming in for wuxx. I love this champion. It's a whole lot of fun. Haven't seen him in competitive since the nerfs, of course, because, well, that was after 6.6. So the first Jhin of the tournament, wuxx played that in the Chinese finals to great effect. He's definitely a stellar Jhin player.
He's one of the few players who's still ready to pick this champion. A lot of the Western teams have kind of moved away from Jhin. We don't see him very often in Korea either, because he's an AD carry with very little mobility. Like when you're against teleporters like Poppy, who can just dive in and get to you, when you're against normally a support who can engage, then this Jhin here will struggle. But he's against a Tahm Kench, so the engage is very predictable. You can actually even throw down your little trap, your little flower, on the location of Tahm Kench, and you will instantly slow him down when he's trying to move towards you, in case he's the engage. But obviously for SKT, it's going to be more about this Poppy flank, trying to get onto the Jhin. Less damage though from the Poppy, so not as scary as before.
Yeah, not quite as scary as before. We'll see how the lineups end up sort of battling here, because certainly the Jhin can be attacked, and persistent damage output is always going to be the strength of this Lucian and this Azir. So SKT in the heads-up 5-on-5, I think looked really good. It's up to the pick potential, the hardcore dives, the one-shot somebody fight from there for Royal. And if you guys think it's going to be that one, then you at home, let us know who it's going to be. Tweet at @LeEsports with hashtag SKT winner, hashtag RNG Jhin for which squad's going to bring it home. Both these regions, Korea and China, are undefeated heading into this matchup. They're both 2-0, and you can see the logo on the screen right there. It was Korea who owns the Rift. Their fans wearing more summoner icons than the Chinese ones. And we are now into the game, the battle of the 2-0 teams.
And what a fun draft from RNG. This is one of the things I really love about this team. They're not afraid of pulling out some of these different picks. You know, we see Quinn top lane from time to time as well from Looper, and now, of course, Jhin in the bottom. And look at the burst from RNG. Like, they have this composition where if, like, xiohu jumps in, connects one ability, you can just snare with the Jhin from long range, and you can lock this target down then with chains coming in right after, and you can just take out these single targets very, very effectively, and you can tower dive. When you have Alistar and Maokai, RNG is looking for a fast-paced game. They are not actually looking for this slow scaling, saying, you know, let's go to 35 minutes and just randomly team fight you.
And it's one of the good things about playing a Jhin and a LeBlanc. They're actually really good at participating in fights that they weren't the ones to initiate in. Jin's range is obviously insane. LeBlanc should be able to push lanes and get in there for the dives to help with the rest of the dives that come in from the rest of her teammates. And those are ones to watch for. But again, SKT wins, I think, any 5-on-5. And they have the Tahm Kench to basically resuscitate whoever actually gets picked up.
Yeah, again, that's why the 5-on-5 is going to be so difficult for RNG, because technically late game they still have a lot of damage. Like, Jhin scales into late game really, really well when he gets like 700 AD. The problem is just, again, with Jhin, his ulti is single target.
Yeah.
LeBlanc, her main damage in the late game is also going to be focused on just popping one target. And that's where Tahm Kench kind of says hello and denies so many things. And this is a Wolf special. Again, he plays a lot of Tahm Kench support, and it's a pick I think really fits SKT and describes SKT as a team so well, because Tahm Kench is one of these champions who take a play that would normally be a fairly good play, because you feel like you can jump in and like one-shot a target, and he denies that. He forces you to overextend for kills, because you have to chase more, you have to set up different kinds of flanks, because you need to get onto 2 targets instead of just 1. So he makes it very, very difficult if you want to play these fast-paced games and assassinate targets. And that's where Wolf can stop almost everything, and then you buy time for the rest of SKT to react.
Now we are in the landing phase watching the 2-on-2. It's worth noting, by the way, that SKT, though they do hold the lane control right now, so Royal has to play behind them, more actual experience was lost by the SKT duo. So they're actually leveling up a bit slowly. They're both at level 2 now. They're going to be fine. But Blank, look at this. A very early aggressive invade route came from Wolf, and Raptors now actually taking away this blue buff really early on.
Very good use of the fast clearing speed from Nidalee, which again is slightly getting nerfed more and more, but not enough really. Still fantastic at early clearing. We talked about these mid lane ganks when you have a LeBlanc to go in with the chains first.
He's got the red buff slow already. Faker's gonna have to burn flash at some point, but no, here comes Nidalee. Wants to fight into Blank. RNG forced a flash away. Blank chasing, but he still goes down. It's a blue buff to xiohu.
Faker didn't want to flash early. He was trying to bait RNG to overextend. They saw the spear connect from Blank, and instantly they said, let's go for it. Problem is this Graves here, tanky enough to jump away, deal enough damage at the same xiohu.
There's no flash for Faker. Jumps on top of him, tries to outplay it.
He's out of mana.
Faker is out of mana. He's only got his auto attacks, and xiohu still wants in. Still has his own flash as well. Flash WE might just get the kill.
He's going for it. He's going to get him.
Faker's running an out of mana flash. Chain's gonna land. There's the Q. There's the kill. xiohu takes down Faker.
Faker gets his Azir, but xiohu had the counter pick. He wanted to play an assassin. He gets the jungler to join him early on, and what a start by RNG, putting so much pressure around this mid lane, and are rewarded with 2 kills.
And if you guys at home can hear that, that is a pumped up Chinese crowd here in Shanghai. RNG the chant.
So normally you actually want the start to be like xiohu going in with chain, then you join with the Graves, but they get some poke, and look here. SKT, they see the spear connect, and I think we have enough burst to take down mlxg, but it's not enough. He gets enough damage towards Faker and Blank at the same time, and now Faker's very greedy for staying here. He's out of mana, he has no flash against the blue buff LeBlanc. I'm actually not sure why he's staying, other than being extremely greedy to push out the wave to avoid xiohu from freezing it. But obviously, whenever he steps forward in that lane, a blue buff LeBlanc is going to just chase him down.
And a great setup there. Just flash
no
the
help from
chain.
the Rift Scuttler either. Useless.
Yep. Ran away from the Azir, so not a chance there. Watching the top lane now as Duke teleports back in after picking up most of a Spectre's cowl.
Oh, we're back in mid lane. There's no flash, by the way, again from Faker. Only has cleanse.
And he's already been rooted, but cleanses away, jumps through with his soldiers. But xiohu still wants more to do. Lands the Q. Blank's not far away. A couple more spells will do it. Taking plenty of punishment. xiohu waiting for the cooldowns. Lands a chain and a blank. Another distortion will take down Faker. It's cooling down. But he's not in range anymore.
Oh.
And he can't get any more done right there.
I think xiohu expected to pick up the kill and then chain the Nidalee at the same time to potentially get 2 or maybe just stop Blank from actually being able to deal damage to him while he was chasing and waiting for that distortion cooldown.
Yeah.
In the end, he didn't get it. Faker, though, under a lot of pressure, and again, you are an Azir without a flash against a champion who can jump at you every single time and just press the chains.
Yes.
And when you jump into melee range, it's pretty hard to miss them.
And the Ignite's back up in about 20 seconds here, so xiohu's going to keep the kill pressure on for sure. Take a quick look at the bottom lane, and Royal aren't far behind. I would expect Lucian to win the early laning phase, and he has so far, but only by about 4 minions here, so not the worst for wuxx.
Problem is when you're laying with a Tahm Kench, not a whole lot is going to happen in the lane. If RNG is going aggressive, you know, trying to land a snare onto Bang, Wolf is going to save him. But also Wolf doesn't really have a way of engaging himself, you know, stepping in and then taking down. It's just going to like be a sustain lane with the Alistar.
Yeah.
And RNG should be happy just taking a standard lane, because mid lane is where we have all the action, and they need to keep Faker down. And mlxg is here for a 3rd time.
He wants him again. The jump is actually down for Faker, so gets a slow. xiohu's
Another
gonna root in, and he's gonna get it. The Thunderlord's triggers, and another kill. All 3 on the Royal mid laner. wuxx forced a flash, and he'll get away. That's 2 flashes down for SKT, so 2 summoners apiece burned there. But the attempt at a fight was in that one.
It's so fun to see. Again, we talked about in Champ Select, how RNG could go for like scaling and start playing these late game teamfights, or when you see the Azir, you lock in an assassin, and we know mlxg, when they have these LeBlanc setups here, he likes to hover around that mid lane with the damage from a Graves, and then you pick up these early kills, and because they got the first 2, they can just keep snowballing it. Blank,
level 6, but unafraid of xiohu's damage, and looks like rightly so. Gets a couple CS and holds lane till Faker gets back into this one. Level 6 to level 5, though, certainly a big advantage for xiohu here. SKT blind picking an Azir, and lo and behold, the counter pick comes through, and a whole lot of jungle attention to make the counter pick work.
Yeah, and this is great for now if you're RNG, but also what you had to do with their composition, with the LeBlanc and Graves around this mid lane. Otherwise, we know Azir is going to scale up to become that monster in the late game. So they're playing it correct early on, and really Faker giving up that first blood, we have to question it. It's something he has done over in Korea quite a few times, where he plays over-aggressive for almost no reason. But then again, if you've been the best player in the world for like 3 years, sometimes you feel like you can kind of do what you want.
Sure. And to be fair, that kill was incredibly close. They nearly took down mlxg, but xiohu got the kill, got a blue buff, and turned it all around.
The start was definitely fine. It was staying after.
Oh, yes.
After he gave over the blue buff, and he's stayed in lane with no flash. Normally you would recall, but obviously he's looking at the lane at that point saying, oh, it's going to slow push towards the LeBlanc. If I don't push this one out, I'm afraid he's going to get a massive experience advantage if I go back to base now. And then I'm just going to get ganked anyway and die. So he's like, I got to try and all in for this.
xiohu nearly gets a bit more damage on a Faker. Actually was able to save the... basically, he used Distortion once, then waited until his ulti was back, his W was back up from cooldown, then would RQW for the combo, actually, which is a really interesting thing by xiohu, but wasn't able to quite get the damage. Faker jumped away from it, and they're just still mostly trading farm here.
Faker seems to be going for Stinger as the first item, which is something you can change. You can go Abyssal Scepter when you're against these assassins in lane, especially one like LeBlanc with so much burst damage, and also because you're falling behind. Oftentimes it's better than trying to like save the laning phase and just lose gracefully. Getting some MR so you don't get almost one shot, and then just try and farm the wave. Maybe just gets a Stinger and then Abyssal, something I've seen as well, but definitely think he needs some early resistance against this LeBlanc.
Certainly, yeah, it's going to be really threatening. And here comes the attempt of the engage on the bot side. Wolf taking a bit of damage. Spits Bang right back out, but wuxx pops the ulti. Curtain call is in. Wolf will tank these shots, but it does increasingly more over time. Gets the final crit and a Bang. Half health on the Lucian. He's going to be able to walk away just fine with this one. No major gain.
I really like that play from Wolf, because what Mata tried to do was saying, if I can combo you both, the Tahm Kench won't be able to eat the Lucian, and we can win that trade. So as soon as Wolf saw the combo, the headbutt starting from Mata, he actually just ate Bang straight away. And they said, okay, I'm going to be the guy being knocked up, then I'm going to spit Bang out and he won't suddenly lose a lot of HP. So smart play by both supports.
Yeah.
A few mind games in there. And again, I really like this little Tahm Kench Alistar match we have, because Mata, of course, is one of the star players, the captain, and the way he played yesterday, fantastic engages again and again, where Wolf can definitely play the aggressive style as well, but I really like him when he's playing this Tahm Kench, and he's more the defensive type. And then later we see some of these rotations between lanes with the Tahm Kench ulti. Another engage!
Oh, that was a lot of damage to the Wolf, though. He's, on to Bang. He's already very low, but here comes the flash engage. The knockup on Bang. He's almost going down. Ulti pop. The heal comes in from Blank. The sapling's going to run, but it goes the other way. mlxg still takes him down with collateral damage. Runs right back out. xiohu can't quite get a dive, but it's still a kill in the bottom lane for Royal, 4-0.
RNG just keeping the pressure here, constantly looking for fights. Mata, he tried a few times with the engages. This time, he managed to actually land the headbutt, get some damage on Bang, and then even though Wolf could eat him and start running away with him, not enough. And TPs from RNG, roams coming as well from the mid lane with the LeBlanc, with the Graves. That's always step one, you know, win that mid lane, then start roaming to other lanes, apply that pressure to other sides of the map.
Well, that pressure's being applied. You're going to see that fight again, and a nice deep ward as well, well behind SKT.
Yeah, this is just such a good engage, because what Mata sees is that Wolf right there, if he gets the combo onto Bang, will manage to get a bit of damage in before Wolf can actually eat him. Just slightly out of range at first, or maybe just a little bit slow in the reaction. But here, this is just a standard roam down. You can see Phreak on your minimap is just stuck in the mid lane, and you just roam with your jungle, with your mid laner, and you make sure that whenever there's a fight, you're there.
And that's been the choice for Royal here, is which... Oh, Blank stole the blue buff away, actually. Faker unable to grab that one, so he's going to continue to have a really bad laning phase. Now Wolf running, has to flash away, and no more of the ulti charges will land, but that is still a flash down for the SKT support for trying to get deep wards. Once again, seeing Blank wearing that blue buff.
Oh.
But that's the Royal choice, right? Is do they go back to the mid lane and try to continue to have xiohu kill Faker, or do they give his lane control away, have him push and roam down, affect something else instead?
Well, seeing as you have an Alistar who's level 6, I like going to the other lane then, saying, okay, we can keep killing this guy, but actually it's even better if we can also snowball our AD carry at the same time, and we want to start taking down early towers as well to really speed up the game. wuxx is running around kind of random here.
Yeah, that's the difficulty, is you don't really ever 1v1 other marksmen. It's pretty easy to dodge the skill shots, and now Mata has to realize, look, I can't really go through this.
Yeah, not really sure of wuxx the way he was moving around, but keep trading mid, and then always have the opening to just move down to this bottom lane. No teleports from either top lane, which means it's going to be basically a 4v3 in favor of RNG if they move down the mid lane, because Faker should never be able to follow. If he ever follows in, you should have vision in the enemy jungle, and then you just jump him instead. So that's always someone you can go for if you keep pushing in mid, and you start moving down towards this bottom side, because we have ulti from Mata. Problem is for RNG, they want to push this lane first, and that's what Bang is trying to stop every single time.
Yeah, keep the lane at equilibrium and make sure you don't have any TP flanks available. Of course, teleport still down for Looper for the next 75 seconds right now. Duke at a very similar timing, actually, so minute and a half to go. Faker has got his Trunk looking to try the matchup, but then also rush Sork Shoes. And again, you're seeing the chunk come through from xiohu, who's trying to get the ability stuff done. Now the engage on the bot side. Once again, a nice pickup by Wolf to bring Bang to safety, and Mata's combos mean absolutely nothing. Well, as Wolf still has the rest of his skills available, and he puts some pressure down.
This time he was fast enough with the Devour onto Bang, avoided all the damage, and again we see all this focus around mid lane from RNG. They're going straight towards Blank, because mlxg knows that his mid laner is always going to be able to join first. That's again why this mid lane pressure is so key. You always get to roam first. And just a few seconds is enough when we look at these professional games.
Yep.
To basically win that supposedly 2v2.
Yeah, more like a 4v2 if you're on the winning team here, and it's going to be the continued goal for Royal to snowball this advantage. But 4 kills to 0 or not, it's only an 1,100 gold game. Duke up 7 minions in the lane. Bang also up about 8 as well. And you're seeing Blank getting the better of the jungle matchup now. The farm advantage has kept the gold equal despite being down a kill and 2 assists.
Not a big fan of SKT going Rift Herald right here. I think there are definitely timings where you need to take it and when you shouldn't take it. One of them is if you actually open up again for another roam, because if you look at the bottom lane, finally RNG has managed to push the lane a little bit towards SKT side. They need to push it all the way in though if they want to set up that dive.
Yep. And that's the punishment for Rift Herald right there.
Yeah, I mean, again, getting the Rift Herald is good for Blank right now, but you're not in a lane swap, so you're not gonna like build up a big wave and fast push a tower. And all you're trying to do is just kind of slow down the game. Going Rift Herald right there just surrenders one wave in mid lane for Faker and puts him in an awkward situation when he's on the way back. Either he takes a long route and loses everything, or he tries to like take a shortcut and then he gets a bad trade.
Well, here's the attempt right here. You're seeing xiohu jump around
This is
looking
what
for
we
Blank,
want.
pushing him out, but also mlxg is already in his bot side jungle. Good dodge in the Javelin. 2 more auto attacks will kill the ward off, and xiohu's going to stay to do that. Chooses to go back to the mid lane here, though, and no Graves Dink after all, so nothing happens thanks to Blank being around on that side of the map. Nice killing, getting plenty of damage on this Royal bot lane. They're actually falling farther behind over time.
And as long as SKT has that pink ward you see in the push, oh, Mata!
Root's going to land, and mlxg's not far away, so Wolf is running. Smoke cloud comes down, but yep, Bang is safe. Blank was there.
Yeah, just a few issues here for RNG. First of all, there's a pink ward in the tri-bush here behind SKT, which has meant they know, okay, no one is actually roaming down right now. We can at least stay in the middle of the lane. Was a pink ward before, being replaced by green ward now. So they know, okay, we have some vision behind us. And because Blank was able to kind of track xiohu in the jungle, clearing out that pink ward, they knew, okay, he's not nearby just yet. We can still push this one out. So RNG needs to actually apply pressure by walking into enemy jungle and get out of vision, so that the bottom lane of SKT says, okay, we cannot push. Because if we push now, there's a chance we get ganked.
Yeah.
So we have to just now play more passive. That suddenly allows Bush and Mata to start pushing out their lane. And then you get people stuck on the tower, and then you can start diving them. So because RNG right now is playing a lot around mid lane, and then only invading into the jungle like once or twice, clearing a ward and not really placing anything, SKT has been able to track them and basically say, okay, we know where you are on the map, so we can actually play aggressive in our bottom lane and therefore still have a CS lead.
Yeah. Well, looking for the next attempt, though, in the mid lane. Faker continuing to take some damage, but honestly surviving his wounds. Yes, he's falling farther and farther behind in minions, but the rest of his team is doing very well. So withstanding a 3-0 LeBlanc, honestly, is no small feat. And Faker making the best of a really bad situation. Royal, they'll still need to use this as a wedge to get farther into this game. SKT happy just to have this wait. Now comes the flash engage, but Wolf is already there. And yet again, saving someone from Mata's damage. A does mean the turret goes down. Finally, that wedge has gone through. Well done by Royal. xiohu able to get his team the turret kill.
In the end, it's a win-win for RNG. Either you get kills and a tower, or you just get a tower. Mid lane is now down, meaning xiohu can push it even further in, making it even harder for Faker to ever move. But we still want to see more focus around this vision here for RNG, so they can pressure these side lanes much more. So SKT has been able to farm too much, especially in the bottom lane, if we consider the fact that we had a 3-0 assassin in the mid lane.
Yes. And maybe he can do something else right here. Waiting around the corner, sees Faker, jumps in, lands the chain, but Faker's able to run away. But still, you can see the level of damage output coming through from the Abyssal Scepter, Morella and Omicron. LeBlanc here.
The dream for xiohu in the mid lane. 2 items completed already.
Faker only has pieces of 2 different ones, so definitely rough stuff for him. xiohu gonna recall on around 1,000 gold, and it's, I'm gonna guess, Sork Shoes actually, just to really chunk down squishy targets. And it is gonna be that magic pen, so beware if you're Bang. 42 magic resist. Well, guess what? xiohu has 29 magic pen and a 20 MR reducing aura. You will take a lot of damage from him. He will do true damage to Bang.
And now we get the pink wards coming in from RNG. Look for them to be placed very aggressively to again both deny vision from SKT and give more control for RNG. A dragon opportunity normally would never happen when your mid laner is this far behind, but because RNG decided to kind of reset the whole thing.
They're getting spotted though. It's got to go down fast. Mata's in the wings, but won't be able to do much. Nice time by SKT, a great dragon sneak by them, and at least it's something picked up now in the 18.5-minute mark here. Bang also pushing out the bottom lane. Not the best culling, but it does deny 2 CS.
And again, this comes from SKT being able to push this bottom lane every single time, so they had a way out, basically by running towards the bottom side of the map in case there was going to be a collapse. Obviously, Blank could just jump over the wall as the Nidalee at the same time. So RNG basically are slowing down in the sense that they all decide to recall almost at the same time. That resets the whole map. They've been tunneling too hard on just the lane itself and not actually what's around the lane and how you apply pressure to side lanes. You can see now they have the pink walls placed aggressively, as we just mentioned. And now suddenly, this roam means that every single time xiohu is out of vision, the bot lane for SKT is saying, okay, let's go back.
Yep.
Otherwise, high chance someone is going to appear behind us and he's going to one-shot us.
Yeah, and he will. He does true damage to Bang and Wolf, actually, xiohu. He has got enough magic pen that he will cut through those health bars. But SKT do have all of their summoner spells up on all of their players. They've got the ability to make the plays and get away from those kinds of ganks. 10 minute difference in the bot lane as it's now Royal pushing that one in. Duke roaming across, looking for the red buff timer on the top side and running right back up to the top lane.
But now RNG has that perfect setup for bot lane dive. They already push in the wave because, again, we know SKT has to play passive. They're moving down mlxg. xiohu is not moved yet, but they have teleport from Looper as well. And there's multiple wards behind SKT to use. Now xiohu is moving down. Faker recall, and he might be running from lane because you know he can't really path through the jungle.
And this will be a lot of damage to the turret. Doesn't quite go down. Another culling used by Bang to push them away. Mott's actually taking a whole bunch of punishment down below half HP. Javelin hits him in the back. Bang's gonna show up. No, he will not, but here comes the teleport in from Looper. The curtain call as well. A slow on the Wolf. The combo missed from Mata. Pops his ulti, and here comes Duke. Stuns up mlxg. Wants to get the kill. Won't quite pick one up. Wolf incredibly low. Looper on the front lines. Doesn't quite find anything to do, and it's going to be the retreat here from everybody. Nothing happening, just a bunch of damage and summoners lost.
Yeah, RNG were really setting up for that one play, realizing, okay, the rest of SKT is already around this bottom side, so we're just gonna back away. But everyone took a different path than Mata, who just walked from lane, had no flash, got chunked down, and then he tried to minion taxi with his combo in the end, but no one was in range, and therefore everyone disengages. So RNG was almost being a little bit too over-aggressive, but at the same time, SKT couldn't get anything in return, and we are still looking at about 2,000 goal lead from RNG.
The Duke might want to close that one up, looking for a play. Misses the ulti, gets comboed up. Huge misplay from Duke. He's alone in this one. No one's on even this side of the map. He's gonna have to flash away from wuxx's root. Huge mistake. That's gonna be a flash down.
Yeah, and instantly now, RNG trying to make a play on the top side. Looper can lock down a target very, very easy. 3
versus 3. The Graves is around as well, but they will back right out. Bot lane outer turret will go down now.
And you always have that Tahm Kench just walking around with that annoying smile on his face. And you know, if you don't try and take him down first, he's going to deny you the kill. But you really don't want to use everything on a Tahm Kench.
Of course not.
Especially not a support.
He has almost double the HP you expect unless you can stun lock him. He's got exhaust as well to make sure that doesn't happen to him anyway.
xiohu could probably one-shot him. If he ever goes for the play.
Yeah.
We would probably see it later, honestly.
Yeah, at some point you'll see him delete somebody off the map in about 4 seconds. xiohu had run around the map. Blank saw him and realized that he's gone now. Blue buff has respawned though. A quick ward from Mata.
And this is one of those games where the composition of SKT doesn't really allow them to punish these over-aggressive moves or potentially over-aggressive moves in side lanes because Faker is not running a teleport champion. And when you lose your lane without teleport, it makes it even harder for you to ever assist your side lanes. So right now, SKT is basically relying on surviving and then getting into team fights.
Well, speaking of surviving, Duke won't do it for much longer. He still got the flash from the earlier play, and here comes xiohu, who gets the melee hit, goes for the root, goes for the damage, gets the kill picked up, and now Blank is a bit alone. Faker's around in the wings and keeps the team from chasing under the turret, but another kill picked up for Royal, a great dive on the Duke, and more map control now for the Chinese squad.
Yeah, we see much more roaming now around this mid lane down towards the side lanes, especially the bottom lane has been a great target for RNG. Duke overextending, honestly, without his flash. Had to use it before. We completely messed up that engage onto wuxx. So one bad play leads to another bad play, honestly, for Duke, and he ends up dying, which means this tower here is going to take some damage.
It's definitely taking a little bit, but once again, so many wave clear ults from Bang. Those minions are frozen. They've been cold so much. You can see, yeah, Duke just like, oh crap, mlxg's behind me, tries to tackle him, but this look, smoke screen, both hits the Q, rev up perma-slow, and then xiohu. I think he actually chained a minion, but got enough damage anyway.
Yeah, and just Duke trying to push out his lane, but again, he had no tower, no flash. Obviously, RNG realizing very quickly, okay, well, you're very overextended, and we can freely move from whatever lane we want. We're gonna pick up another free kill, and as I said before, right, SKT, they don't have a way of punishing these roams because Faker can never follow. They don't have the double teleport, obviously, because they're playing Azir. Which means all you can basically do is try and defend your tier 2 towers, pick up whatever farm you can, surrender whatever dragons you can as well. The fact they actually picked up 1 and RNG's on 0 at 24 minutes is pretty huge for SKT.
Yeah.
When it looks towards the late game where it could have been already a situation where RNG were moving towards 5 dragons, that is not really a possibility. Yeah,
it would be 30 minutes and change from now. So a 5 dragon game would be minimum 55 minutes, or sorry, 55 minutes in.
So basically,
very unlikely.
SKT will just have to try and defend these towers here. Defending the tier 1 tower in top lane is not going to be an option. Actually, that's the tower I feel like you need to surrender, because when you are trying to defend it, you will always risk just getting people moving around you and just flanking you. So you can actually give up that tower when it is and just defend your tier 2 all the way down and try and farm up whatever you can and then keep vision around Baron. Because what RNG wants to do now is play this 1-3-1 with this LeBlanc sitting in a side lane where she can kill anyone. You actually want to put it on top side, because then you pressure in the tower, and later on you get vision around Baron. And if SKT is sitting too far back, you just bait the Baron. You force SKT to move in blind, and then you just collapse on them, flank them, you take the team fight, you're ahead in gold, you win it.
That's an easy situation for Royal to get into then, if they can find that fight and win it with their 4,000 gold lead here, looking to keep the plays going.
Yeah, and
Void
actually,
staff now done on xiohu means he can actually hit Duke now.
the reason the xiohu is on bottom side now is because RNG is saying we actually want that first dragon before we focus on Baron, so that is still correct, just to go back to the point from before. But later on, he's going to swap to top side and you put your TP away from the Baron. And SKT knows.
Yeah, and they were trying to go for the play. You saw them hiding across the wall with a trinket ward over it, hoping someone would walk by from Team China, and that's not going to be the situation. The Koreans, still licking their wounds from the early game, have not found any ways in just yet. They've had some close fights, but no victories. The Chinese squad now hoping to defend the regional mid-season invitational title. And mlxg will get to solo a dragon in between 2 wards, and no one will even bother him.
He wants you to see it.
Yeah. Oh, everyone saw that, mlxg. Everybody saw you kill that dragon.
SKT were just trying to set up for a little trap before, and then obviously realized RNG was not going to walk straight into a river, and then realizing we can't really fight. Because if you look at their engage options from SKT, I see a Poppy who can TP in, and that's about it.
Wolf can bring the people in as well.
He can bring them in. It's a pretty lame engage.
I agree.
And then I guess Faker can
go
try.
hard.
And that's basically it. So there's no reliable engage here outside of a Poppy TPing in and trying to then rush down one of the targets in the back line. But then the rest of SKT will struggle to follow, which is always a big issue. And that's one of the risks you get when you then draft in instead of a high damage composition, like Lucian, Azir.
Yeah.
When you have these team fights and you actually technically want RNG to like run at you.
Yeah.
So that you can then block some of the damage with the Tahm Kench and poke with the Azir.
And it's honestly been a criticism I've had of Wolf for a while, where he just plays only Alistar and Tahm Kench, it seems, almost exclusively in the back half of the split, which are fine champions, but he's not really bringing out a lot of the engage tools, a lot of the hardcore, let's start some fights champions. And if SKT don't have ways of getting in and ways of punishing minor overextensions by Royal, then they have less tools to get back into the game. SKT hoping they can find some opening eventually. Faker playing the wave clear game. He's gone top lane now to face off with xiohu. And again, Faker is held up in this lane. He's down to 21 CS. He's been that way for 20 minutes now. He's fine.
And as we talked about earlier, with xiohu staying on bottom side for the dragon, he's now staying on top side for, obviously, first of all, the tower and then the Baron pressure. Because once he pushes in that lane and gets the tier 1 down, suddenly the jungle on that side doesn't belong to SKT anymore. It's going to be warded up by RNG. And if you ever want to walk in there, you're going to walk in blind. Tank fight, not a whole lot is going to happen until the jungler joins and mlxg is on his way.
Once again, Duke is alone. He does tackle mlxg. Another flash comes in, a knockup to buy some time. Will it be enough? Bang has shown up, and yeah, the kill won't go through. SKT now have more reinforcements. They've got Blank in the front line. They're trying to take down Looper. He's slowly getting worn down. Monster re-engages. Looper still isn't dead. They've actually picked up Bang. Looper is still not dead. The heal comes through. Can you believe it? 2 kills for Royal and none for the Koreans.
Mara saved the whole thing. He comes in with the headbutt and he flashes for the combo onto Bang, so there's no damage to take down Looper. In the end, RNG getting 2 more kills, and honestly, in this game, they've just been getting everything. The camera is on Mara for a good reason, because that was a sick play.
That was so impressive, the fact that it did not get turned around. The crowd more than ever behind the hometown team.
So this is where Tahm Kench is great at reacting to these kind of plays. You see the ulti up here, him coming in, bringing in Blank at the same time. So right now, SKT is turning this. Now looking to pick up a few kills and lose nothing. But then look at Mara coming. Headbutts onto Wolf. We don't want to see it. We want to see Duke dying again.
And he's in the same spot. xiohu is also solo killed Faker on the middle of the map, but now it's Duke running away for his life. Here's the curtain call. Bang! Shot! Down goes the Duke. He's been slain. His kingdom is gone. Bang forced to run away. SKT losing 2 more. This is 9-0. SKT have only picked up a dragon all game long. Now finally a kill. Blank gets it on a xiohu who overstayed in the mid lane.
Well, xiohu picked up a kill on Faker. Another one for him. Obviously going down in the end. Blank did miss a spear, but then had enough damage. Wolf looking to be annoying and just interrupt the recall. Let's see one more time. This is Faker getting soloed in the middle. He's pushing up and
flash chain.
He flashes
so nice.
Behind the minions so he can land the chains here. Faker staying around the minions at first to block it. Great flash from xiohu, gets another kill. And really this RNG team, they said we want to fight early on, and they are doing it.
Pulverized root. Graves cues the wall, but here comes Looper. Roots up Blank, but Wolf says no. You're gonna be fine, Blank. Don't worry about this one.
Ruining all the fun. 4 members from RNG trying to set up 1 kill, and then Wolf just walks in.
Well, I mean, that is to his credit why he's playing the champion. No engaged tools maybe, but not dying, certainly helpful.
It's really gone wrong for SKT just around that mid lane, and we talked about it so much in the early game. That was the entire setup for RNG with this LeBlanc pick into Azir, saying we don't want to risk Faker scaling into a late game monster. We instead want to camp him early on. Distortion, great mobility, CC from the chains, damage, everything you really need to take down an Azir. And with Faker also being a little bit too greedy in certain situations, resulted in quite a few kills for RNG, and now they've been using it.
Definitely agree. So, Royal have been holding all the cards, and so far they've been playing their hand quite nicely.
And this, by the way, is an SKT lineup.
Yeah.
Who look like the clear favorite.
Sure.
We didn't expect this team to almost lose a single game. I didn't expect them to lose more than maybe 1 game. And I didn't expect a game like this to be it. I thought it would maybe be if they're already qualified, you know, locked in first, they could give away a game. But this one, this is RNG outplaying SKT. And also it starts in the draft with this setup here around the mid lane for RNG, and then just camping Faker.
Yeah, I mean, really beautifully done too. mlxg, a player that very few outside of China have ever heard of. Same for xiohu. And they completely dominated Faker and Blank in the 2-on-2. Several ganks coming in. They wedged open that mid lane. They pried it open. They got xiohu ahead. And he's been using that quite well. He's been able to push that lead into the bot lane. When the lane swapped back, they kept control of the bot jungle and picked off Duke sometimes now too.
Now, there's a big criticism for RNG, and I feel it still counts for them back in the LPL as well, is when it comes to setting up Baron, they tend to struggle. Because the fact that you have to like set up 3 or 4 pink wards, you have to pressure the 2 lanes next to the Baron, and then you kind of bait people either to come face check or you just rush the Baron down, is something they have struggled with in the past, where they tend to be more focused on trying to find that 1 kill, you know, get the kill first and then take the Baron. Right here, again, you are in a situation where you need to start setting up this Baron, because you don't want this game to keep going longer and longer. Even though you're still hitting gold, the longer the game goes, the higher chance there is for SKT to come back into the game. So you need those pink wards around the Baron. Currently, I can count 0 around it. And also, SKT has been allowed to actually have defensive wards in the jungle, just in front of the Baron. And that is unacceptable when you're this far ahead. xiohu needs to sit top lane, push down the lane, you keep Wuxx in the mid lane, he pushes that lane in, and you ward up that enemy jungle and pink on the Baron, or just in front of the Baron.
Yeah.
And you start basically forcing SKT to come in and face check. Blow the 2 blue trinkets. One of them is actually useless because it's on a Poppy in the bottom lane, so it's only 1 blue trinket you need to get rid of.
Yep.
And then you can actually start that Baron and force SKT to either come or you get it for free.
And so we'll see if that ends up being the play, but right now it's only these standard invisible wards that don't destroy vision here. But right now SKT actually do not have much vision around that Baron pit. A couple by the river, but that's it. Royal instead looking to play for the mid lane a little bit here. 4 turrets already picked up. That's bot lane tier 2, the extra one there. But they're really just treading water here. Nothing really gained for a while. They got a dragon, that's something, but as we mentioned, it'll be a long road away for the next 3.
It's too slow. SKT is more than happy giving up these early dragons now. Early dragons, these late dragons.
Sure.
To RNG. Blue trinket comes down from Bang onto the Baron itself. Always one of the annoying things now when you set up vision in this current meta and you are on the purple side. You actually need to have a ward in the Baron as well, just so you can see when the blue trinkets come in there so you can clear them.
Right.
And then you also need that pink ward outside of the Baron to clear whatever vision they put there. So bot lane trade, again, not too exciting. But the fact that RNG is keeping xiohu mid lane is stopping them right now from actually setting up the Baron. So they might just say, you know what, let's look for another fight instead. Let's try and TP in with this Maokai.
Yeah.
and do it that way, you know, the RNG way.
Sure.
We don't care about setting up division, we only care about getting an engage and take a team fight.
Well, SKT right now actually setting up pretty well in the mid lane here. Faker pops his Sun Disc, and well, now they lay claim to this part of the map. Mata taking plenty of damage for fighting for this ward, and he realizes, you know what, Bang with a red buff hurts a lot. Let's go ahead and leave this ward alive, which means that SKT have now weathered one of the cooldowns. Blank, though, rooted up, nearly dies, heals himself through a Merlin-Omicron debuff, and he's injured heavily. mlxg chunked out a bit by Bang's culling. The Sun Disc goes down, 100 gold to Royal. And the flash combo on a Faker, Root's gonna land. Wolf beats him up, but now is there a re-engage? Curtain call, not pop, teleport's gonna come in. It's already been canceled by Duke, so it's now Looper who's also canceled. The Root onto Wolf, he's gonna get caught up for this one. Pops the Grey Health, here's the re-engage on Amata, who's minting his ultimate. Duke nearly gets the kill picked up, out of the Root comes through, hits up Bang, keeps him out of the fight. Bush getting some damage through, but still no kills. However, SKT missing a lot of health bars.
And once again, RNG is trying too hard just to find these random picks when SKT is running as a group of at least 4 members, so there's always someone to protect you if xiohu is jumping in.
Yep.
You have defensive pink wards. If you look at your minimap here, 4 blue pink wards defensively placed. One of them gonna be cleared now by wuxx. From SKT knowing, okay, they have no real good location to teleport to. To flankers, we can basically see everything. We know we can always safely path their way back when we're trying to disengage, and they will have to suddenly blindly face check towards us.
Yep.
And it means SKT again are able to delay the game. We're almost at 4 items from Faker and from Bang. Already 4 items on the side of RNG.
Sure.
And once we get to 5 items, again, it starts evening out. So now they are around the Baron, so they have the right idea of what to do. Right now, RNG just struggles to understand how to actually set it up and execute this idea they have.
It's pink wards over the wall, the spots where your opponents could drop trinkets down. And then it's just sweep the back half and make sure nothing else comes in. You can bait forever as long as you keep your pink wards alive. There's one over on the side. Wolf beats Bang, keeps him safe. They're gonna go for another engage, but they're not gonna find it. Looper tried to walk down the mid lane, but no one to pick off. There's a sapling, runs away, lets the minion wave be controlled once again. SKT are now the team to push in the mid lane. xiohu finds a bit more onto Blank, but the Rod of Age of the Vessel Scepter keeps him alive. Root on the Duke doesn't mean too much. Culling used again. Doesn't get much on the Looper. mlxg also able to withstand a bit of damage. A Javelin coming from
This is
Blank.
risky by SKT because they are moving so far up.
Slows onto Wolf, a hit on the Faker as well. xiohu gets away. Duke is rooted up on the bot side of your screen. That's what you're gonna have to fight for here. Knocks back two, but still gets picked off. xiohu gets the killing blow. A root onto Bang, eaten up by Wolf, but Wolf is on the wrong side of this fight. Faker pushes back mlxg, pushes everyone else away, but Bang is still on the wrong side. That's when Mata wants in, pops the ulti, looks for a pulverize. Good dodge by Bang, healed back up by Blank
xiohu
as well.
coming around.
And now wuxx is on a killing spree after picking off Wolf as well on the top side of the fight. 5 versus 3. Mata has no ulti. Faker's still got a mana pool.
SKT has to fight their way out here. Mata, he's moving in.
He's gonna find nice flash by Faker to get away. Still a 5v3. No more enemies to pick up. Blank is alive with Smite. Royal have 25 seconds to work with.
They're pinging on the Baron here. Every single member is alive. Mata does have to recall right now. TP for Looper. He can always join in on the Baron. 17 seconds for Duke, 14 for Wolf, and no ulti for him right now. Or maybe it is available, actually, so you can use it
Wolf
towards
can
the
ulti halfway across to Baron. Duke has teleport up as well, so Royal don't have an easy numbers advantage. The fight for the blue buff, good Smite takes it away. Nothing there for
Unfair.
Faker. Yeah.
But RNG realizes
no Smite.
Teleport and ulti from Tahm Kench, meaning we can't really take on this Baron.
Yeah. You can see how controlled the Koreans are playing here. SKT have been getting dominated all game long, but they're not making it easy. Royal get 2 kills out of this, and we can watch it again.
Yeah, so basically what happens is Duke actually splits up from the rest of the team, meaning RNG can safely just jump onto him straight away with every single member on the team, taking him down and then engage on the Bang after, but this is where again the Tahm Kench can come in very helpful. Rest of SKT realizing they can't fight. As soon as you lose the one member, you have to start just disengaging.
This crit.
Wolf is just trying to be a bit annoying.
Yeah. Does eventually die. 80% crit chance build here from the Jhin here, and we watch the rest of that, but now we go back to the Baron play because guess what? Wolf is in front, he gets caught out! The kill comes through, there's no safety left now for SKT. Duke finishes the teleport. mlxg is gonna have to jump over the Baron pit wall, but he'll be fine doing that. Duke couldn't get a range for the steadfast presence, and now the re-engage. There is no Tahm Kench left alive, and it's gonna be slows onto Blank, a slow onto Duke. The chain's gonna land. xiohu will not quite get the root completed. It jumps back away. 5v4. Third dragon is alive for Royal. Wave clear by mlxg. Sundisk put up by Faker.
And we see RNG now again. They're taking baby steps towards starting this Baron or setting up the Baron every single time. This time they started it to force SKT to teleport with Duke and move towards the Baron itself. They got Wolf, instantly just killed him when he walked in to place the ward. Won't be able to get the Baron itself just yet. Wolf is now back alive, rest of SKT, but this is still good for RNG. Pick up another tower, clear out a few of the wards.
Yeah, warding is still not amazing by SKT, but they have a few around the river that are going to keep Royal from being able to bait anything. Top lane 2-2 did go down, 5 turrets to win the scoreline overall. xiohu sees Duke and jumps back across to where the Gromp's respawning, and well, he'll be okay, but a 7,000 gold lead is the highest it's been now for Royal.
Yeah, and RNG might want to pick up another dragon again. It's funny we talked about how we're not going to get 5 dragons in this game. You know, RNG is looking to close that out way before, and they're on 3 now, and Duke taking quite some damage.
Another change, xiohu tries to juke it, does so. They actually might get the outplay now. Randuin's flow did not land, so xiohu needs another cooldown. Oh, Duke outplays it! And the steadfast presence gets him out as well, so a loss of flash for xiohu does not get the outplay.
And that is massive, because it means now Duke can at least recall, get the home guards, and then run towards this Baron again. Every single time RNG feel like they can get a kill and then maybe start the Baron, SKT either kites for long enough to buy more time, or just escapes death with a few seconds. Third dragon for RNG, as we talked about. Looper needs to go to the bottom lane. You have TP advantage. RNG, realize you have TP advantage now, so just go push in bot lane. You can even just take this wave and push with it, and then have the other 4 members around the Baron. So when SKT walks in with 5 to Baron, you can disengage it, and you can just take and get a lot of pressure on the bottom side with a big minion wave. Yep. Or if SKT goes down to defend it, you TP in with Looper behind SKT and get a 4v5.
Well, right now, Royal have set up around the Baron. The Chinese squad have got the deep wards. They've got some pinks in the river as well. There's not a lot of vision for SKT right now. How well will the Koreans defend this? A couple wards over the wall, swept out yet again by the sweeper of mlxg. Blank trying to get these wards. We'll get that one as well. Nice job with his trinket. Oracle's alteration as his standard.
And you can see RNG just pinged a big wave and therefore stop the recalls with xiohu and saying we're waiting for someone to go down and take that wave.
Yeah, as soon as someone shows in that lane, it's a guaranteed 5v4. Duke still has quite some time to go until it shows up.
And Looper values getting the home guards instead. So he's sitting in base right now. Faker getting jumped.
Oh, deleted by xiohu yet again, but he's gonna get traded right back in. Bang gets the kill. No mid laners in this fight, but the re-engage comes in anyway. mlxg wants the damage. Wolf in the front lines, they've got to get through him first. Root's gonna land from wuxx. Mata flashes, looks for Blank. Poppy ult sends back Looper. It's gonna flash over the wall. wuxx gets caught. wuxx is not gonna die. The shields are alive. He's staying up. mlxg dangerously low though. Pops the curtain call. Damage onto Duke. The bullets trying to hit Blank. And he gets it! wuxx on a rampage! The root's gonna land as well. Duke is stuck. Looper still on the front side. Looks for Bang, but Wolf eats it for safety. Now Duke in the front side just gets cut down. wuxx unstoppable. Wants a couple more. Bang running away. Not much health left on him. The root's gonna land on pick off Wolf. Bang gets a kill back onto his former countryman, but it's a 4-for-2 advantage to Royal.
And wuxx staying alive in that fight won everything for RNG because he managed to then pop his ulti, get another kill, and then managed to join the fight one more time. They're on Baron. It's only Faker and Bang alive, but they are in base. This is going to be Baron now for RNG. That is the RNG way. We're going to fight our way to the Baron. We don't care about division control. We're going to take these fights again and again and again. And we know we can keep winning them. The bot lane tower did go down, because SKT was so busy, obviously, with the fight, no one could go down to clear it. Faker here is making a big mistake. He has no vision right there in the jungle. You cannot just walk up to that minion wave. xiohu has been staying around that top side for the last, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
It's not like he's not randomly gonna leave, and Faker then goes down. But look at this fight. It's 4v4. Mata is trying to be a threat from the side at first, and then wuxx now gets stunned into the wall by Duke. And Bang is in the middle of the fight, but wuxx will just stay alive in the very end. And now it means for the Jhin, pop your ulti long range. He's waiting for one of the squishies and one of the low HP targets, and he actually gets Blank, predicts the jump, takes him down, and now he can rejoin the fight.
with enough health that Duke can't quite take him down. Marvin already has popped for the lifesteal, and Bloodthirster now his final item of the build, so Wuxx as tanky as he can get, plenty of attack damage on him. And he's been having good uptime, 0 deaths.
And currently on 786 attack damage.
Yep. You saw 0 damage come out of Faker in that fight. xiohu deleted him before he even started.
This has definitely been one of the worst games I've ever seen Faker play.
Sure.
Starting in the early game, and now mistakes like that later on. Making it very difficult for SKT despite delaying the game for such a long time, with RNG struggling to finish the game. You know, they have actually one of the longest game times in the LPL, because even when they are ahead, if they can't fight their way to the victory, the games get very delayed, because then they keep getting like 1 kill, backing away, get another kill. And it's been the same in this game here. They have not been able to properly set up around objectives, force a big team fight that could result in both the Baron and probably the Nexus. They've gotten the Baron so far.
Yep. And they've got a minute left on it. 48 seconds now, the timer. And who's splitting the bot side. Mid lane will go down soon.
1 Baron in 45 minutes.
Yeah. When you've been winning the entire time. Only 3 dragons as well. Finally, mid lane tier 2 goes down. The gold lead 10,000 for the first time this game. Chinese representatives looking to go 3-0 to start things out against the heavy incoming favorites of Korea's SK Telecom T1. That might just happen. Faker, many believe him to be the best player in the world. 0-4-0 has been completely outplayed this game. A great 2-on-2 and then great capitalization from there from xiohu and co.
And I think SKT have never been bigger favorites going into a tournament than this one. Worlds last year, a lot of people looked at LGD and EDG, saying they could challenge SKT. Going to IM Katowice, SKT had been slumping. Also, China sent off, of course, both RNG and QG, who were #1 in each group in the LPL. So no one was 100% sure. Of course, SKT were the favorites for that tournament, but people wanted to see what the Chinese teams could do. This tournament, we saw the Chinese teams have problem at IM Katowice. We saw SKT pick up the slack, become the top team in Korea once more. And stepping into this tournament, I was like, this team, massive, massive favorites.
Sure, of course.
And they have been able, again, to delay this game for such a long time. And we're, of course, just looking at 1 game. Like, this is a best out of 1. We will still have later on
we'll have a
best out of 5. You'll have a rematch as well. Like, this is what happens in BO5s. You know, you play poorly in 1 game, you lose that 1 game, but then you change up your draft a little bit, you talk about it, and you go into the next game, and of course you will play much better. So we can't take too much from just a single game. It is still a big surprise and a great game by RNG to look at the way they were playing in the early game especially.
And we'll see if Royal can keep that level of performance up, though. That early game was great by this squad, and they're looking poised to take this game down. Yes, they're having to work for it, but they're climbing up slowly, steadily and surely. They're getting farther and farther ahead here, but now they're starting to get capped on items. There's nothing else to buy for xiohu, nothing else to buy for wuxx, and nothing else to buy for Looper. mlxg's item slots are full as well, and Mata only has an upgrade to go.
They might actually get 5 dragons.
We might actually have that. They're at 4 right now.
Because right now for RNG, if you actually want to play it safe, you wait for Baron and Dragon to respawn. And then you play around them one more time.
Safe play, yeah.
Only other option is going for that bot lane inhib.
And I think that's safe as well. There's no turret there, you're up 10,000 gold. You would have to severely misplay to make that fight go poorly.
The only issue if you go for bot lane inhib is that you don't really know where all the wards from SKT are, potentially behind you, and then you can get a home guard TP and you get knocked into a wall. Outside of that, RNG can just wait for objectives. They're waiting for Baron now, but honestly, that still gives SKT a pretty fair chance, because we've seen how RNG struggled to get that Baron in the first place.
Like, let's compare mid laners. There's a 3,000 gold advantage on xiohu over Faker. Both these players have full item slots. That 3,000 gold lead you're seeing at the top, 3,000 that 11,000, doesn't matter, because the items are full anyway. Look at the AD carries. Okay, Quicksilver Sash can still be upgraded over to Mercurial Scimitar, but the gold lead across those 2 AD carries. There you go. Now it means nothing. Top laner, full build, doesn't matter anymore.
So xiohu right now in this game has done 32,000 damage. Faker's done 13,000 damage. Faker's barely been in this game. Well, actually, he's been given a lot of gold over to RNG, so I guess he had some impact.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, this gold lead is now lying.
And yet, you see a late game Azir who can still win you the last team fight.
Yes, he can.
Because again, he has full builds, because RNG has simply been unable to snowball this game. We've talked about it again and again. Don't want to bore you guys even more.
They've been able to close the game. They've been gritting farther and farther ahead. Hey, they're on Dragon 4. Hey, that Baron's up in 45 seconds, but they've been unable to close it. SKT's total game time has now been doubled, by the way. They won in 28 minutes, then 24, I think, were the times. Now they're hitting 50 in a single game on day 2, and it's like, well, SKT knew how to close games in under 30 minutes apiece, both times. Royal, the Chinese team, had a similarly good early game, had a similarly good lead, and are taking twice as long as the Koreans. And this means that you have 4 full build members in SKT. Faker looking for the play here onto Looper. Can't quite get the damage down to push him completely out. A little chunk onto Bang, but that's going to be him being all right. Full build Lucian's going to be fine. He'll lifesteal up, 123 health per auto attack. But here comes the Baron.
Baron is alive. At this point in the game, getting pink wards is very difficult because no one wants to sell the boots for pink wards, so only supports will be able to get it. And that means for SKT, it's very easy whenever they push mid. Oh, never mind!
Here's the engage. Faker's gone! He's been deleted already! Mata and co doing that one beautifully. Duke sends the support back running, and now Wolf needs up a teammate, but Looper's holding the front line. Blank low. There's the route. They're going to find Wolf. He's not going to survive much longer. Has to flash to get away. Looper will have to get out of this one, but the mid laner's gone. SKT, Lost Faker with flash and cleanse still up.
And again, it's Mata with the engage. He flashes in onto Faker. He clearly surprises him because Faker had flashed ready but couldn't use it in time. Mata creating another massive pick for RNG.
And they're going to play it around Baron. 35 seconds missing. Their mid laner, Duke, going to juke away from the root, but now the flank comes in, looking for a bit more damage. There's Mata again on the Guardian Angel. Wolf's going to eat him, but there's the root in for Looper. They're going to get damage on the support. He's nearly going down. Into the back line they go. Bang, nearly dropped, but Blank saves him. Wolf is dead, though. Duke might be next, but gets away from the root yet again. Not going to be caught down. 2 kills picked up, though, for Royal. Mata is low. He's actually going to die to the turret. Blank has a kill somehow. And Faker revives in 6 seconds. This will be a 4 versus 4. So Royal has to lead.
TP behind now. It's not over yet, Phreak.
The TP blank for Duke flanking with the teleport. Good flash by Whoosh. Guardian Angel still on. There's the culling. Here comes xiohu. Almost picks off Bang. And Duke sends the team to safety. But now Faker is actually trying to battle in the bot side. Nearly picks off xiohu. Pops the Zonius. Jumps over the wall into the base. And now will he jump back?
No, Faker was still there with the soldiers. xiohu will end up going down. Can he get something? He's trying to get in him.
Oh, nice tackle by Duke, picks up the kill, and now it's actually SKT, the Koreans, with the numbers advantage on the map.
Yeah, SKT will get Baron now because it's still alive. Obviously, RNG, we keep talking about it. They're looking for these fights over and over. There's 60 seconds on xiohu. SKT is pushing up. Every single member is alive. They didn't even lose an inhib. You just lost your mid laner 50 minutes into the game, and you didn't even lose an inhib.
Yep.
I mean, they might even just push for another inhib and then go Baron after. If you're SKT, because there's still 44 seconds on xiohu.
They're still going forward. 40 seconds on the LeBlanc. SKT showing Royal how you play with the lead. Dragon 5 being attacked right now and picked up thanks to mlxg. 4v5 team fight might be coming in. The inhibitor turret's already dead. Bang, full healed thanks to his teammate there. Wolf and Duke for the front line, and the middle inhibitor's already gone.
Here, no?
20 seconds, they can't.
Definitely not. No. Got a little bit too aggressive there. Still, Baron with 15 seconds on xiohu. He has to move from the base as well to the Baron itself. Another tower just to slow down RNG.
Blue trinket's up for xiohu, but he's still dead. 6 seconds on his revival. They're going to rush in for the Baron. SKT putting it all on the line right now. They've got to make this comeback happen. They're going to just blitz down the Baron. They pick it up cleanly. Oh, mlxg means nothing, so it's Baron buff versus Dragon 5. xiohu's back on the map. SKT running away, but xiohu running down the base to join his team.
And everyone from SKT can now recall. Job's done for now.
For now.
The game is not over, but you couldn't have asked for more. You got inhib and you got the Baron. Rest of SKT, just outside the base. RNG right now have 5 dragons against the Baron buff. I'll take the 5 dragons, definitely. And that's why SKT right now is not pushing anything. They're just waiting. They know RNG is strong. mlxg managed to sneak away that dragon while SKT were rushing in for the inhib.
Mata's in flag of war, but there's wards watching SKT's flanks. Javelin thrown out, doesn't land on anything. Bang getting a bit of poke damage down. mlxg losing a couple hundred HP, but he can heal right back up off these golems. xiohu can just slowly attack that inhibitor down. He does plenty of damage per auto, keep in mind. There is some punishment there.
Just a little bit every single time. Both teams are at the point where the last fight surely must decide the game. I feel like we've been there before, and it didn't decide the game every single time. We had a few kills. RNG didn't manage to push in anything. 55 minutes, Baron running out, but so is the 5 dragons.
So xiohu actually retooled his build. He sold the Sork Shoes for Distortion Lucidity Boots, which will give him a 3-minute flash cooldown, roughly. And he also switched out Morel and Amakan for Unthieves and Holy Grail. So he's been more defensive now. He's got a higher cooldown reduction. He's got a little bit more magic resist, but he now can no longer cut the self-healing of Bang's Lifesteal and Blank's Primal Surge.
But we got to keep in mind how much mana he's using late game, also with the more cooldown reduction. Constantly jumping in and poking a little bit, so getting the extra mana regen from Athenes, and also if he gets that 1 kill or assist, getting some more mana back for himself to continue chasing in these fights here. So he's basically putting everything towards his poke. And of course,
not as much the all-in.
And not as much the all-in as you're saying. Obviously, for him, it's about getting as many distortions in. Get a few hits, jump back, get a few hits on inhib. If you can get down 1 or 2 inhibs, that's another way now for you to win the game later on, or SKT suddenly can't really lose the bit or move away from the base.
As we crest 56 minutes in, we are unsurprisingly in the longest game of the tournament. 104,000 gold to 95. This doesn't matter. Keep in mind, they're basically at full builds. It only supports picking up items, so watch the Chain Vest, watch the Negatron Cloak. They're going to turn into something else later on. But SKT have Baron buff for 20 seconds as Dragon 5 has already timed out. That middle inhibitor dead for just a couple more waves. And SKT ride that down the mid lane. Duke pulling up the rear from farther behind. mlxg takes down the Raptors, and his team takes down the minion wave. SKT will not get anything more done here.
And we might just see again 2 teams waiting for Dragon if you're on the side of RNG, Baron if you're on the side of SKT. Obviously SKT wants to deny 5 dragons one more time. Or for the first time technically, because RNG actually picked up the 5 dragons before.
Yeah.
But now there's no objectives.
Back up in a minute and a half.
None of the teams can really move forward, because if you start randomly rushing down mid lane, you will very easily lose track of what's on the sides. And again, then that TP flank is happening, or suddenly you miss where one guy is on the map, and you can't go for those crazy plays right now, because it's going to be one big team fight, or one member who's standing at the wrong place at the wrong time, and then he gets caught by LeBlanc, by maybe a Jhin. Jhin at this point, against like Bang, if he lands every single shot of his ulti, which shouldn't happen due to Bang obviously having a dash, he can actually kill him.
Yes. Yes, he can. That's going to be really scary if it does happen. And Bang, of course, has plenty of people to help him stay alive as well. Wolf has been eating many of the targets of the hard engage. Death cap done for Blank gives him huge healing as well. And
Wolf is really a team player. He sees the Faker struggling. He's saying, you know what? I'll die as well. Let's get the same score, just 1 assist, die 5 times.
Not a problem. And now we have 80% crit chance Graves. So Graves had some changes coming into this patch. Essentially what it means is max range crit Graves does more damage than he did before. Other than that, Graves does less damage. So mlxg is actually stronger than he was pre-patch with this build, with this position, with this game. There are some very scary backline threats, and xiohu getting caught by the one of SKT. Bang dropping him to half HP. Now Royal missing out on some control over the map. Dragon up in 40 seconds, xiohu will recall and heal. He'll be on the map in time for that, but another Dragon attempt is here for Royal in the near future.
Yeah, instantly SKT can move in. There are a few wards behind in case Lupa can TP to them. You might see him just stay in base with the home guards. Rest of RNG though, still alive and moving down towards the mid. So Dragon is not alive yet. Lupa is moving out of the base as well, but also with the Graves and the build you talk about, look for it when he actually lands the crit. It's 10 bullets basically flying, and definitely helps him as well with their cooldown on his E, the quick draw. Mata trying to bait potentially a flash by saying, I'm going to taxi to this, so if you're staying too close, I can flash for you.
Mata in the front, and it looks like Royal wants to cut off the getters of the mid lane right here to go for the inhibitors instead. SKT forced to run back towards the Baron pit, and here's the engage. Wolf picks one up, Mata low, but he's going to stay alive for now. Into the backline, Faker knocks back Looper, then Duke does the same thing, and now Maokai is not part of this fight anymore, and it's the push on for the Dragon. SKT wants it, Mata's ulti is gone, and it will be the Dragon picked up by Faker's damage. advantage, and Royal are gonna run away. Back to the mid lane. Looper
xiohu
taking, looking for the play into the front line. They're gonna look for a little bit more, but Wolf picks up Faker. Monte gets a knockback. They're going for Bang. He's gone. Woosh gets it. He's exhausted though, and a trade kill comes in. Faker's gone. Woosh has two. He's still alive. Another
RNG takes it.
Then on to Duke. A triple kill. Make that the Guardian Angel. The fourth will happen. Duke is the only one alive. Flashes away. He's gonna try to trade one back. He is gonna get one, but it's a full house for Royal, and they should close the game.
We're 1 hour into the game and RNG were ahead from minute 2 basically. They're now pushing massive minion wave. What an insane team fight.
It was insane, and they are not going to be stopped, Deficio. This will be Royal never giving up, never saying die, never surrendering, and taking an hour-long victory over the favorites from Korea. Hear that Chinese crowd, Deficio. They know the home team are now the top dogs at the mid-season invitational, the only undefeated team left. 3-0.
And they managed to beat SKT at every stage of the game right here. Early game, mid game, late game. They win that last team fight as well. xiohu with a flank forcing the hourglass from Faker. And then everyone from SKT were just grouped together. RG piled in, picked up the kills. So they took those last few seconds to win that fight, and then the entire game, an hour-long game.
And what's really worth celebrating here is you can point to the fact they had a goal lead the entire game. But in a game this late, that lead is non-existent. So in a 50-minute plus game, these teams were equal. And Royal outplayed the map. They played their style of looking for team fights, not playing as much the objectives, but for the champion-on-champion combat. And they beat SKT playing their own game. Chinese, Royal never give up League of Legends, beating SKT.